This is Kelso Sturgeon. Welcome to another edition of Football Handicapping 101. Once again, we have a lot to talk about. I encourage you to get your pencils and papers ready because we're going to talk about some serious football injuries this week that most certainly will impact point spreads. Before we get to that, I'd like to review last week. A great week, a big game week. On Saturday, won a 100-unit play with my college situation game of the year as Hawaii crushed Idaho 45-10. Also on Saturday, kept my record in Saturday night specials unbeaten with a 50-unit win with Houston, 56-17 over Memphis. Came right back on Sunday. Got my another 50-unit win with my NFL game of the week as the Detroit Lions knocked off the Washington Redskins. And I've got a big week planned for this weekend. In fact, it's a giant week on Saturday. Here are the details. On Saturday, I'm kicking off my November to Remember package with a 250-unit college parlay, a marquee parlay, all the games on national television. Now, here's the 4 games that I'm using in this. It'll be 50-unit plays on Arkansas at South Carolina, Alabama at LSU, TCU at Utah, and Hawaii at Boise State. And then we'll close it out with a 50-unit parlay at odds of 10-1 on those 4 winners. It's a break-the-bank kind of day. Also on Saturday night, I'll be going for my 6th consecutive Saturday night special, another 50-unit play, undefeated in this game this season. And then on Sunday, it'll be another 50-unit NFL game of the week, 6-2 in those games this season. Now let's talk about Saturday. You know, I don't think I've ever seen a weekend, even last year, where there were so many injuries to key skill players on very good teams. I'd like to run them down, and you need to make a note because I'm not saying that the teams with the injuries cannot win, but I can tell you right now, most of them will be a bit suspect as to their ability to cover the number if you intended on using them. I've listed them in alphabetical order. Let's start with Arizona. Arizona is a 9.5-point underdog at Stanford. They get back starting quarterback Nick Foles this week, and that's a big boost for Arizona. He's a solid power player, and he could keep the Wildcats in this game with Stanford. Without him, they have no chance at all. California has lost starting quarterback Kevin Riley for the season with a knee injury. They'll be at Washington State this week. I don't know how much that'll impact things, but Washington State's been covering quite frequently while not winning. Clemson will be without starting running back Andre Ellington, who's out with a toe injury when they take the field against North Carolina State. He's a big part of their offense and makes me a little nervous about using Clemson in that game. Interestingly enough, Kansas, which hosts Colorado, which has lost 15 straight games on the road, has no quarterback. Almost literally. They're scratching the bottom of the barrel to get someone to start at the quarterback spot because of injuries to the first 3 players on the depth chart. Now, here's another big one. Louisville is at Syracuse. They're an underdog there. They will be without their superstar running back, Bilal Powell, and he is a true impact player. They will definitely miss him. Also on the doubtful list is quarterback Adam Froman, who is questionable because of a thigh injury. Do not bet the Syracuse-Louisville game until, especially if you like Louisville, until you check the latest injury report you can get your hands on. Miami's in somewhat of a bind this week too as it plays host to Maryland. Definitely will be without starting quarterback Ja'Cory Harris, who's out with a concussion, and probably will be without his partner in the backfield, starting running back Damian Berry, also on the injury list. Now let's go to Missouri, where there's a little positive news. Last week, quarterback Blaine Gilbert suffered a concussion in that loss at Nebraska, but he's good to go Saturday against Texas Tech. The same goes for Nebraska quarterback Taylor Martinez, who was knocked out of that game. He too will be good to go at Iowa State. Texas A&M, up and down all season, took a big blow this week when they lost starting running back Christian Michael. They won't have him this week, next week, and probably for the rest of the season. Toledo, a minor player, but a key to their offense and their success has been quarterback Austin Danton. He's out, maybe for the rest of the season. Louisiana Lafayette, quarterback Chris Masson, very doubtful against Southern Mississippi on Saturday. Washington, the biggest loss of all, they will be without quarterback Jake Locker, a primetime blue chip player when they go to Oregon. It's interesting that when it was announced that Locker would not play because of a knee injury, that line jumped from Oregon 27.5 to Oregon 35.5 if you think this guy is not an impact player. This is just a partial list of the injuries, and I encourage you very much to check injuries this week because these are key people, and I just went over a few top ones. My injury report printed out at 37 pages this week, and that's single space, 37 pages. Check those injury reports because many of them will impact the point spreads. As for significant money and the betting lines, nothing much is shown from the wise guys. On tomorrow's report, I'll have a money report and also give out a free winner. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget the big weekend coming up Saturday and Sunday.